Hey TV, what's going on? It's your boy Rody, guys, and I'm here with a pretty quick video. We actually seen today that the Grammys have dropped their nominees for Best Hip Hop Album of the Year. And I thought I needed to give my opinion on that. I had a few family members and friends hit me up and say, yo Russ, I want your opinion. So I'm gonna give my completely unbiased opinion of these nominees. You know what I'm saying? So check me out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's the 10 crack commandments. Why?
Alright, Showdawees. Now the Grammys just released the 4 albums that are considered for who's going to win the hip hop album category this year. Now, as you see with the shirt I'm wearing, I am a diehard J. Cole fan since way back in the Come Up mixtape days. But I do want to try to give an unbiased approach on this and say why I think he should win it compared to the others. Alright, Showdawee, so 2014 Forest Hill Drives came out at the end of 2014 and pushed all the way through 2015. It was a highly successful album, as most people know. It was the only hip hop album in the past 25 years to sell 1 million copies without having any features. Now, if you can really process that, having an album with solely you is extremely difficult. And I think that carries a lot of weight compared to the other contenders in this category because they all did have features. But to have the songs that you wrote completely by yourself and make sure that it gets across is very difficult in my opinion. And I respect J. Cole for doing that because this album was amazing. I mean, hands down, from the beat selections, which he did all the beats and production, which has been the case since way back in his come up days and his mixtapes, to now he's always been able to control each song, which I think is very important. And also, compared to the other people in this category, J. Cole has consistently been an underdog in most people's cases. Each year he's slowly gotten bigger and bigger, but this year I think has been his year, even with a highly successful tour. That plays in his favor. Now, also for the other people in this category, Nicki Minaj had a highly successful tour. I believe Drake even went on tour as well. You know, I can't really remember. Even Kendrick, he's been doing a lot of tours around the world. So the tour factor is a factor for all the people in this category except for Dr. Dre, because we all know he doesn't leave the studio. But I think J. Cole does have a higher category caliber in this section than anyone else. And I'm gonna kind of explain it a little bit with each album going forward. Now, in retrospect, you do have major artists like Drake, who did drop this mixtape album, whatever you want to call it. Now, he did drop this, selling it on iTunes in the stores, but he called it a mixtape. Most people do think, myself included, that this was used for him to be able to get out of the contract with Young Money, Cash Money for sure, since this was his last album on the contract. Now, of course, us not being lawyers, we don't really know if that's true or not. But he does call it an album, even though it's a mixtape, who knows. But it did have a lot of great singles, a lot of great songs, but it did not have an actual theme. You cannot tell me, based on that album, what Drake was going through, what was his intention for the album. All we know is that it was some really great songs, great features, and it was a great album. Can't take that away from him. But as compared to a theme, as far as a whole, I don't think that it can hold a candle to what 2014 Forest Hill Drives had. Now, Dr. Dre's album did come out, as well as I did do a review on it, and I loved it. But compared to Kendrick's album or J. Cole's album, it did not have the longevity as far as being single driven or even any type of tours. I'm sure many of you who didn't listen to the album can't even tell me what a single was on the album. It did have more of a soundtrack to it because it was for the movie, but it was still a great album. Can't take anything away from it, but I don't think that it will be able to win this category because, in my opinion, for this category, you need to have something that is successful commercially, of course, for everybody else, but you also need to have something that will push the core fans as well as the hip-hop heads, and it's going to be able to withstand the lengths of time. So if a year and a half from now, you can go back and listen to this album and be like, man, this sounds better than most things dropping, then that deserves a major plus in my category. And I don't think that Compton is going to be that same thing that J. Cole's album is going to be. Now, Nicki Minaj did release her highly successful album, and in the past she was more on the pop side with a lot of her singles, but I did not personally listen to this album, so I had to interview my fiance to get a little bit of information on why she liked it. She did tell me that it was really, really well done compared to their other ones. It was more geared to her core fans in hip hop, showing more of her personal side from when she had to go through things with her relationship with Safari, babies being lost and drug problems, and just opening up to her fans more than just being that crazy, you know, hair wig wearing costume girl just getting more into her pad and pen skills, and I can appreciate that. Of course, we all know the singles and stuff, even her things that she's done with Beyonce, but does it still belong the last of time, as well as the theme behind it? Now, I understand she was opening up to more to the fans, but I can't tell you what the theme of the album was besides it sounded like a copy of Jay-Z's Blueprint. Nothing taken away from Nicki Minaj, because again, the album was highly successful, had singles, she did an amazing tour with Weak Mills, but can it hold up against, you know, a J. Cole or a Kendrick as far as fans flocking to it and say, hey, this is what hip hop needs? In my opinion, I don't think she will make it. Now, the last album in this category is Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, that was highly successful, but it was a little bit bitter on a lot of fans, including myself, as far as what it brought to the table compared to Good Kid, Mad City. Now, Good Kid, Mad City will continue to go down as one of the top albums, maybe of all time, just from its impact and everything that Kendrick brought being his first album. But this album did touch on things that were going on in society, as well as Kendrick's input on how things should go, and even the thought behind the album title, you know, pimping a butterfly, doing something so wrong to a beautiful creature, in my opinion, goes kind of the same thing to how African Americans are treated in today's society. You know, things happen to you when they really shouldn't do, when you're such a powerful and beautiful thing. So I think that's where he was coming from with the actual title. But the songs itself kind of were a little bit far in between for a lot of people. Either were hit and miss, either you listen to the album for the first or two times and then never listen to it again, or you just kind of say, yo, I'm gonna just ride with it because it's Kendrick. In my opinion, you can't force yourself to love an album. You can either like it or you can just toss it. And I don't think that's going to correlate to what J. Cole's album did. J. Cole's album touched everybody in a different way. It was a full album that allowed people to understand where he was coming from at that point in time. He was doing it all by himself. He had no help from any type of major retailers. You know, it was a surprise album, same way that Drake did it, just dropping it. J. Cole did it in about, you know, a month or so compared to Drake, who did it, I believe, in a day or two. So that's the new thing to do, so the surprise factor. So you can also take that too with Kendrick. I mean, if he dropped a surprise album, everybody would flock to it. But if the content is not strong enough to hold you forever, then it's not gonna, in my opinion, hold to this category, which at the end of the day, hip hop album of the year. This year, J. Cole had the best album, hands down. All right, Showdawee, so in my opinion, J. Cole should definitely win this category, hands down. There are some definitely very good contenders in this category, but this year I think J. Cole did have a long string of success with singles, tours, just the ability to have amazing sales with him being the only rapper entirely on the entire album. You gotta take a look at that as a whole and not put your feelings into it like I probably would, you know. But if there was a better album, I would definitely choose it. But this year, for the Grammys, they definitely need to choose J. Cole. If he is snubbed over this again, like he was when Macklemore won, I do think it would be a problem, just in my opinion, of how they choose and the criteria. So we'll see how the Grammys go this year when they choose. I believe it's in February, so we'll take a look at that. Down in the comments section, y'all let me know who you do believe should win. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong on this, but y'all let me know. I'll make sure to continue giving these videos. Please make sure y'all share, comment, and like. And you know how we end this, Showdawee TV. Peace.
Oh, it can't be good music, my Grammy family.